We're going live right now.
Right now from COREnet in San Diego. Here we go. And good morning, everyone. This is SchreckTeck, episode number, I think it's 57. Here we 57. are. It is May 1st already, and that voice you hear in the background is none other than, there she is, Gina Schreck.
There I am.
Hey, Gina, how are you today?
Doing great. Here, I was going to say sunny San Diego, but that would be a lie. It is foggy San Diego.
Oh, we're foggy near LA, too.
Is it cold and foggy where you were?
It's cool. It's about probably 50-something.
Okay. It was very warm and sunny in Denver when I left, and so I came here, although I'm kind of glad because I have done some trekking since I've been here. I yesterday took a cab, which was a mistake because I took a cab from the hotel, which is just literally like 2 hotels away from the convention center. Took a cab to the convention center, but the cabbie dropped me off way at the other end of the convention center. So I walked further to get to the right side than I would have if I walked from the hotel. Left my iPhone in the cab. It was retrieved by Laura Lee Arnold, the hero at COREnet. I mean, truly. And Laura Lee, I have a present for you. I don't see that you're here yet, but she is a superhero. You should have seen. She ran into action. She called the hotel. She got the bell desk, who tracked down the cab, and they found my phone. Still in the backseat of the cab. So that was pretty awesome. But it's just been a really great, yesterday I had 5 sessions. We did sessions on, ironically, because it's our topic today, mobile apps. And we talked about the iPad and how to use your iPad to really be more productive and get more work done on the road. Not just, Rick, I know you just want to use your iPad to flip through Pinterest. You know, I'd have to slip the P word in there somehow.
We almost got away with it.
And I thought, I've got to say Pinterest once. So we're really looking at ways to work successfully mobile today.
That sounds
and Rick,
good.
How much time do you spend working on the road?
When I'm on the road, I spend all my time working on the road, pretty much. I go on vacation, I'm working on the road. So, yeah, we have, well, like I told you yesterday, we have, I think when we travel, it's like portable Best Buy or Fry's right in our bag. We have every bit of hardware you can imagine to be connected somehow or to get work done. We carry portable routers, we carry MiFi cards, we carry access points. I mean, literally, we have so much stuff in our, and we have one extra bag just for hardware.
Just gadgets. Do you ever get stopped at TSA?
No, because we usually check it in.
Oh, you do? Wow.
That stuff we check in. We don't, well, yeah, I don't know what's safer, going through TSA or checking it in. But anyway, we actually check most of that in one of the bags, and we just carry one of the notebooks on the plane with us. Notebook and iPad stay with me.
And I've never had problems going through TSA except when I carried a little podcast, the handy recorder.
Oh.
And I think it was like the H4 hand. It looks like a taser.
Yes, the H4N.
So anytime I had that in my bag, I would get pulled over.
Yeah, they'll pull you over for that. But if you carried a weapon, they probably wouldn't notice it.
Well, no, I've been stopped multiple times for scissors in my bag that I forgot. A rubber snake was the best. I had a rubber snake in my book bag, and I didn't know. I grabbed a book bag for my daughter, and they literally pulled me over, and they had their rubber gloves on, and they were peeling the bag down very carefully, and they called several people over, and they were going through it, and then they pulled it out, and they asked, why would you have this in your bag? And I told them I had no idea it was there, and it's a rubber snake.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you if you weren't blonde, you wouldn't get pulled over.
Yeah, right. No, it's usually I have like 2 water bottles in my bag. They're going, didn't you see this? Yeah, whatever.
I got hit for Gatorade one time. I forgot I had a Gatorade bottle, and that went away. Which is stupid because you can buy it inside for the same thing. You can't bring it from the outside, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
let's move on to something more pleasant.
and living mobily, it is a challenge at times. I think there's a couple things that I never leave home without, but I want, because you're really I mean, fries, we don't have fries in Colorado.
But yeah, Best Buy.
Fries, in Colorado, that's something you order with a cheeseburger. But you have fries, and that is in like Best Buy or Circuit City?
No, it's more like a humongous supermarket of toys, components, anything you could want. It's like a Best Buy about 4 times bigger.
4 times bigger than Best Buy.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe three, maybe at least twice, if not 3 times bigger. It's
So
fun.
so you are the gadget man. So what if you were giving tips to people who are trying to work and live in a mobile environment? What are some of the must-haves? And but what do you need to take on the road with you?
Well, I think one of the first things you need, if you are doing a lot of traveling, you definitely need an internet or a broadband access card, like a MiFi from Verizon, and that gives you 4G LTE speeds. If you're in a city that supports it, and that gets you connected easily. If you don't have, for example, my iPad is not. It's only a Wi-Fi iPad,
Right.
so I don't have any connection on it because I've got the MiFi card. And it acts as a router, and you can put up to, I think, 5 people on it. So it's a good little device. It's about, I want to say, $50-$60 a month for the MiFi. Well worth it if you do travel. And
Okay, tell me though, because I'm trying to justify, why would you do a MiFi over tethering from your phone?
well, it depends. I have an iPhone. I don't have 4G LTE on my iPhone. So therefore, I have
got
no
it on my
bandwidth.
Android.
Yeah, I have no bandwidth on my iPhone. So that's why we would do that. Also, another thing, and this is something you really should do before you travel, make sure your hotel has decent bandwidth, because a lot of hotels have crappy bandwidth. And if you're in a city or in an area that doesn't have really good 4G LTE, then you need a hotel with some good bandwidth, and some of them are atrocious. You get no
Well, even
bandwidth.
if you have LTE, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be getting that speed. You go somewhere and you're on,
That's
you're
right.
in an area that just has 3G, you're still getting 3G.
That's true. So you're looking for some solution anywhere near you. So if, for example, you're in a hotel, usually the big chains tend to, not always, have good bandwidth. So you want to make sure that they have enough bandwidth to support what your needs are if you're working from the hotel. Now, wherever you are live, that's different. If you're in an office building or whatever else, you may not have access to their Wi-Fi because they may not let you in.
Okay, so here's another question, and I got this yesterday, and I've never really been a BlackBerry, delved into that.
Who?
Platform. What platform? So I can tether from my Android. I know you can tether from the iPhone, and it may just be the 4G and the 4S. I'm not sure.
But you
The
can
4
tether,
Express.
but you're not going to get 4G LTE speeds. You're just going to get.
But you can still tether.
Right.
But can you tether from a BlackBerry?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I know,
I've
isn't
never
it
had
weird?
one.
None of us really knew. There was nobody yesterday that had successfully done it. So
There are
I
45
don't know
people
why
in.
not.
No, there are at least 45 people in India who have one.
Well, I think if you have a BlackBerry, a newer BlackBerry, and you go into your settings and look for portable Wi-Fi and tethering, it should. I don't know why it wouldn't if you're getting internet connection. But here's my gadget that I never leave home without, and it's just so simple. But I always throw this in my bag for working on the road. When you go to plug in somewhere, even at a hotel, and really I should carry a power strip, which you probably do.
We do.
I was going to say, knowing you'd have power strips in the hotels when you get there. I just bring my little 3-prong and I use it in the hotel.
We have one of
because
those too.
One lamp that, and it's taking up the spot you need for your charging. And so I'll plug this in. Or at the airport when you have those people who everybody is huddled around the one outlet, and I go over and say, let's share. And it helps you make friends. So you bring your little, $1.99 or something at any store, and you can pick that up. What are any other things that you bring with you for working on the road?
Let's see. Laptop, iPad, iPhone. that's usually pretty much everything you need to work on the road. We do
Right.
bring access points and routers because sometimes if we don't have any good phone connection or if the MiFi is not working, then we will hook up the access point or even router sometimes to the hotel, either Wi-Fi or internet, and that gives us at least two connections in the room. Because many times I travel with my wife and we both are working,
Right.
so it's a good way to have any kind of connection you need, and those are kind of crucial things. I'll tell you another thing we carry, which is sort of interesting, and we never used to. We're starting to carry air cleaners.
Carry what?
We've been air cleaners, those electrostatic air cleaners that are small. It's maybe about a foot and a half tall, but it's an ionizer in essence because when you travel to Vegas, you can't breathe. When you travel to some hotels, they have no decent, you can't open a window, and the air conditioning systems are old. So we decided, you know what? We also want to be tech enabled but healthy, because otherwise you're not healthy in some of these places.
Okay.
So yeah.
I want to see the size of your bag. Because
We have it's a big Samsonite. I mean, it's a big Samsonite
that's what I have. I
with
have
wheels,
the
and we
one
can.
you and it swivels and
Yep,
it's super
yep.
lightweight.
Yeah, well,
I
we
guess
have
I
this.
just need to leave more shoes home.
Well, we have
and
this.
I can fit those important things.
Yeah, well,
What am I
okay.
saying?
You don't need 10
Slap my
pairs of
mouth.
shoes. Well, you
Shoes
know
are
what?
those-
You know what? You need to develop a pair of shoes that actually have built-in MiFi or Wi-Fi. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
And you click them like
shoes.
you can be like Dorothy. You click them and you turned on. You're there.
Outer shoes. Somebody come up with that quick. Yeah. Click your heels twice.
I should have my cousin in Italy, Giuseppe Zanotti. He should do that for me.
Okay, well, you know what? Here's another interesting thing I found yesterday when we were doing sessions here on iPad apps, living mobile, and using our iPads more. How few people still use Evernote and Dropbox, and I think those are the two most important mobile apps anybody can have, and they work on every platform: Android, iOS, BlackBerry.
You're right. Those are gotta haves. If you're on the road and you
Must
need to
have.
take notes, Evernote's it. I mean, actually, if you have an Exchange server at your office, then OneNote is okay. It's very simple, but it works well. But Evernote is everywhere. It's ubiquitous, and it does a pretty good job. Not only that, you can take notes, pictures, multimedia, recordings, stick it all in there, and it works.
Yeah, to me, and every time I ask this question, what are the top apps you must have on your iPad, or what are the top apps you must have on your Android? The top two always are Evernote and Dropbox, and those two apps, I always say I save every presentation when I'm traveling. I save them into Dropbox. I mean, right now, I can't think of anything I do not save to a Dropbox folder. I put everything in Dropbox.
But Gina,
and
here,
that way, wherever I am, because I'm usually working in my car, on the road somewhere, and I can access that document.
but Gina, here is a hint. If you have Dropbox and you go on the road, get two Dropboxes because your main one may have 40 gigabytes of stuff in it. You don't want that on your iPad. It will sync every bit of content you have onto your iPad. Get one that's more travel related, and then you'll have 2 to 4 gigabytes or whatever. It won't take as long to sync when you need it. It's just one of those things that I have one that's a 40. I think I have about 20 gigabytes on mine. And one day
Right.
I'm going, why is my bandwidth just all consumed? Oh, I'm syncing. So just be careful with that one. If you do travel with Dropbox, try to get a second one.
A second one.
Yeah, because your main one may have a lot of gigs. I know people have 100 gigabytes in their Dropbox.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot in there.
And there goes your
Yeah,
iPad.
well,
Then there goes your 64 gigabyte iPad. You have no room.
That's true. And Dropbox, I think it's Dropbox. They just upped, that they always have 2 gigabytes free when you sign up for Dropbox.
Right.
They upped that. Now it's 5 gigabytes because they're competing with Google. So
Right. Google Drive, which who knows where that'll go.
yeah, who knows? But hey, it got us 3 more gigabytes.
That's right.
Free storage. I'm like, sweet.
That's right. And frankly, 5 gigs for Dropbox for the most part is pretty good.
Most people won't even go through that.
No.
Right. Unless you store a lot of photos on there. And now Dropbox has Dropbox Photo, which is interesting. I'm not sure how that's different as far as your account goes, but you now have your photos separate and then your documents separate.
Okay.
I'm going to actually throw out a question to our live audience here because they look like at least they've had some caffeine, which I have not. And Rick, that alone, like there's 2 things in life that are really important, and that's shoes and coffee. And I have no coffee. But I'm going to ask, like, what mobile apps do you live by when you're on the road? Any? None. None? Your Delta app, yeah. The
Yep.
flight apps are really important. I found a great app, Packing Pro. And I love it because it has all these templates of packing lists before you leave on a trip. And it even had one, I know I'll never use it, but I thought I was amused by it, camping. If you're going camping, there's a list of what to bring. I thought I might have to plan a camping trip just so I could say, I know what to bring. Packing Pro, I thought was a great little mobile app for travel. Any other travel, or not travel, but mobile apps? iBeam? Oh no, what's iBeam? Okay, so it's an electronic business card, kind of like Bump, but you don't have to actually, but it works. Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like, I love watching people try to use Bump because they're just banging knuckles so hard with their devices. And you know, I'm curious how many phones have been broken trying to bump applications because they think the phones have to bump. iBeam, and is that cross-platform from iOS to Android, do you know? iBeam, 99 cents.
Now,
Right.
how many people admit to having Angry Birds only on their phones and iPads?
Yeah. Angry Birds does not count as a mobile app. It is on your mobile device, but that is not a business app. And I know it's hard to convince people of that they see that as, you know, it's boardroom wartime strategies or something. I think they're taking strategies. I'm surprised somebody hasn't written a book about that. Everything I know in business, I've learned from Angry Birds. Write that book quick. Yeah, but some of the, I think some of the mobile apps, there's a lot of great, when you're traveling, there's a lot of great mobile apps. I mean, obviously there's TripIt, doing research, there's TripAdvisor, so those are always good to check out and research. Frommer's has a great app if you travel internationally because Frommer's allows you to go in and look at currency exchange. They have time conversion charts. They have, they even have trivia. So if you're taking your family somewhere, or you're just like me and you're always, you know, just looking for that interesting bit of trivia to strike up a conversation. And like you, Rick, I know you're always wanting to do that. So
I talk to everybody. Yep.
yeah, you're the one that puts your eye mask on and your headphones in as soon as you sit down. But Frommer's is a great app, and it's free. And if you're a hiker, I know this isn't really mobile, but you know, sometimes you're out and you're out in actually enjoying yourself, and maybe you still are bringing your iPad like me. My family actually got on my case once because we went hiking, and in my backpack I had my iPad. I said it's like a child. I carry it in a little, you know, the little papoose thing on my back, and you just never know when you need to take out the baby and take a picture of something or tweet that out at the moment.
Now, I think that brings up another point. One essential device, if you have an iPad or an iPhone, is to get the camera connection kit, because that allows you to tie in USB drives. It allows you to tie in microphones. It comes with an SD card reader, which is great because any pictures you take, any videos, you can immediately transfer over to your iPad or iPhone, and then send it back up to YouTube or wherever you want to send it, or just save it.
What does that cost? Is it about $39?
It's about, I think it's about $40. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I have the little camera. It plugs into the bottom of your iPad, and then you can just slip an SD card in there.
Yep, it is great.
I so rarely use my big camera anymore. I'm either using my phone or my iPad. And with the iPad, the new iPad, iPad 3, you know, the camera is really nice. So I've taken a lot more pictures, which is hard to believe because I have over 2,000 pictures on my iPad right now, so it's kind of frightening. You know, usually I'll Instagram them or tweet them out or something. Yesterday I was taking a bunch of
Or you'll
pictures
put them on Pinterest, right?
Or put them on Pinterest. And Rick, I put them there only for you, so you can look at them as you're browsing Pinterest.
That's what I do late at night. I actually go to Pinterest and nobody knows.
You know, there was an interesting article this week. Pinterest has driven more revenue, people to actually make purchases than on Twitter and Facebook. And so that is a really interesting thing. And I'm one of those people. I will see beautiful images usually of shoes, and I will click through to see where can I purchase them. And, you know, I think Pinterest is one that we take, good morning, we take for granted, that we forget, you know, and I think what we need to do as a business, we need to look at it and say, how can we participate in this whole crazy movement called Pinterest? I mean, what does it mean for our business? And I just recently set up a bunch of our hotel clients with a Pinterest account because they do so many weddings and receptions at hotels. So I thought, well, let's create a wedding board and put beautiful wedding pictures. And then we have table settings, ideas for table settings. And so I started thinking for you know, properties, you know, this is a commercial real estate group here, COREnet, and that's another area. You can put really cool things that you see within commercial real estate architecture and design and fabrics for you know, furniture. And so, you know, the ideas start coming to you when you see, Rick, I'm telling you, you need to spend more than 3 minutes in Pinterest. Because how many of you have ever been on Pinterest in here? 1, 2, oh, there is a man who has been, I'm impressed. Good for you. You know, they say like 10%.
We'll take him out later on and talk to him.
Yeah, Rick wants to talk to you later. Rick, you've been on there, I hear.
I have been on at least once or twice, and it's okay.
You've been on twice?
I think so.
Okay, and so is it true that you log on and you just look at everything and go, what is the point?
Pretty much.
And women, what do you say when you first log on there? Oh my gosh, it's the most amazing site in the world. It's like I've just found heaven on a website. I mean, it's just this visual, although I have to admit, lately I log on and it's a little cluttered with a lot of people trying to turn it into a marketing tool, which, you know, we're trying to find that balance. How do you use it as a marketing tool without polluting it and looking spammy?
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Gina, another app to carry with you is Goodreader.
Goodreader.
Goodreader on the iPad allows you to read just about any kind of document, PowerPoints, PDFs, just about anything, your Word docs, anything you can think of. It pretty much allows you to read it, and comes in handy when you may not have all the apps you need on an iPad. I think Keynote now lets you read PowerPoint, but if you don't have it, or now Adobe has a PDF app, but it just puts everything in one place.
Right. Goodreader is a great one. And, you know, I used to use Read It Later. So if I was reading a blog post or I had an article that I was reading and I didn't have time to read through it, I would save it in Read It Later. Well, Read It Later has just gone through a rebranding, and now it's called Pocket. So it's kind of interesting, but the reason they call it Pocket now is they've made it where you can watch videos later. So maybe there's a YouTube video that you want to watch, or a TED Talk that you say, oh, I don't have time right now. You save it to Pocket. And if you already had Read It Later, I think it automatically converted. Or you may have to just go in and do an update. But Read It Later is now called Pocket, and the reason is you save videos, you save podcasts, you can save, so things that you find on the internet, but you don't have time to actually read them now, you want to read them on the plane, it will actually download them and save them in your little, I always say it's like having a folder that you snip articles and read them later, or watch them later. But now you're just going to put them in your pocket, therefore the name.
There is another one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's I think it's called USB drive, and it allows you, again, to make your iPad act like a USB drive.
I didn't know that.
That's
what do you mean, act like a USB drive?
You can store things just like a USB drive. In essence, if you connect your iPad, it acts like a USB drive. You can copy files to it, take them off. It's just one big thumb drive.
Okay, that is okay. Here's my hot travel app that I love, and remember we had the guys from Gate Guru on. Gate Guru is a really great app because you land in an airport, and it's a free app. As soon as you get in the airport, let's say you land in San Diego, you You open up Gate Guru, and usually it pulls the airport that you're closest to. You choose San Diego, and it'll tell you everything that's in that airport. So it'll tell you where the closest ATM is. It shows you where the restrooms are. You choose concourse, whatever you're in, and it'll tell you what shops are there, what restaurants, where the nearest Starbucks is. And I love that app because usually it's one of those things I have a short period of time before I have to catch another flight, and I think I don't want to search up and down looking for specific things. You open up Gate Guru. They also have now evolved the app to send out flight notifications. So I can put in, for example, I can put my husband's email address in there, and if I enter my flight in there, it'll send him, while I'm in the air, it'll send him a note saying this flight is delayed.
So you're interrupting him from being on Pinterest, is what you're saying?
It's what?
You're interrupting him from being on Pinterest.
The idea, exactly. Kirk has never been on Pinterest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he just sees me on Pinterest and shakes his head and doesn't get the whole thing.
There's only so many shoes a guy needs.
But you know what? He should be on Pinterest because their company, Service Magic, home improvement. I mean, that's a huge topic on Pinterest. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't think of an industry. I know if I think for a while, I'd probably think of one, but I can't think of an industry that couldn't somehow be on Pinterest and capture these 10 million women who are on that site. It's just a huge opportunity. So I think that, but working mobily, I still see people, and I saw some here yesterday, who do not have a smartphone. I'm baffled by that. I don't know how you can actually survive. And I don't even say that sarcastically. I really can't survive without a smartphone, or yesterday I did survive without my smartphone, but I had my iPad, so I was still able to get information and communicate. But there's so much you can do on your phones, anything from taking credit card payments right there on your phone using the Square app, which, by the way, I learned something this week. One of our clients in Australia wanted to pay using a credit card for their monthly social media service, and I thought, well, I'm sure you can do that on Square because I don't have to actually swipe the card. I can enter in the credit card information. SquareUp.com is a great, if you use credit cards of any type to take payments for things, SquareUp is such a great app because it's so much cheaper than any other shopping cart online. I think it's 2% or 2.75% of the transaction. Which,
well, that's just like a regular Visa or MasterCard. They're about 2 to 2.75.
But then you have to pay a monthly fee for the shopping cart service.
True.
There's no monthly fee with Square. There's no setup fee. There's no monthly fee. You're just 2.75% of purchase, and it's and you can swipe a card. So you plug in the little slider and you swipe the card through. And many of us have seen that in the Apple Store, and they have you sign on the screen. It emails the receipt. Same thing. And then you can also go in, open up the app, and I use it on my iPad just because it's easier, and I don't have to put on my reading glasses. But I can enter that in and not have to swipe the card. Well, I did find out it will not take international credit cards unless it's physical. So you can slide an international credit card through and take payment. It will not do it virtually, and I'm sure that's just a safeguard. But we did learn a few lessons on Square. But that's another great app that I think most of us need. If we're taking payment and somebody wants to make a payment via credit card. But what other apps do you recommend for living and working on the road? Did I lose Rick?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
I know. I don't know if I'm coming through to you as
most of the time
clear.
it's clear. I heard something about road.
When you're on the road, what are some other apps? Do you use Zite or Flipboard?
I have both. I kind of like, they're both pretty good. I just don't use them that much.
See, and I use Zite, Z-I-T-E, every single day. I literally open Zite like my morning paper and flip through Zite, and I love the fact that every time I open it, it continues to customize and become a better app for me. Zite is available on iPhone, and I think right now it's only iOS device. devices. It was Zeit and Flipboard were only iPad apps. They were designed for the iPad because they flip through beautifully through the pages of your news that comes to you. But they came to the iPhone, which I'm not a big person for reading a lot of content on my phone. I just find that to be so tiny. And I have a humongous, I mean, this Nexus, the Galaxy Nexus, is a giant screen. And it's still, I need to open it on my iPad to read my news. But Zeit is a great app because you pick the categories, you select your industry, the thought leaders in your industry, and it's going to comb the internet. And someone asked me yesterday, how is it different than just Yahoo News, or, you know, if you're reading your news through another source? It continues to customize it, because when I read an article, let's say I find something on social media and I read it and I give it a thumbs up. So you can either give it a thumbs up, great article, or a thumbs down. It was, you know, all it was doing is pumping a webinar they were doing. And so I give it a thumbs down. If I give it a thumbs up, it will ask you, do you want to see more articles like this? Do you want to see more articles by this writer? And it kind of gives you some choices to customize it so the next time you open up your Zeit app, it brings in even more relevant information for you. And pretty much a couple hours later, you open it up and it's new news on your app. So I love Zeit and use it every day like my newspaper. I think that's a must-have app to have. And you know what? One we forget, USA Today. It's free. And it's the same news. It's in the paper. Like at the hotel, you open up the door, there's your USA Today newspaper. But if you open up the USA Today app, which is free, it's the same stuff, and you have the same categories, and you flip through. What you need to do if you're getting on an airplane is open up USA Today so it downloads all of those sections, and then get on the plane. Because if you wait until you're on the plane to open it, it needs the internet to pull that, and you know, you and Alec Baldwin will be kicked off the plane together. If you try to go on, which I'm such a rebel. I never turn my iPad off when I get on the plane, never. And my husband does this, and he gets mad at me because he goes, like, you're teaching our children bad habits. But my iPad, I mean, you know, I have my ancient book cover on my iPad. So I get on the plane, and I put in my headphone in my iPad, plug in. Now here's another travel tip. If you want to sneak and listen to your mobile devices on the plane during takeoff and landing, make sure you wear black or matching headphones to the jacket you're wearing, because they disguise easily. So if I'm wearing a black jacket, I bring my black headphones and I put them in so they're hidden, and I turn on my iPhone. I usually am listening to a podcast or an Audible. I just downloaded Brian Solis's book, End of Business as Usual. Really good book so far. But I turn that on and I close it up, and they just think I have my little I'm reading ancient history while I'm flying, and they go, man, whoever's in 1A is really smart. But really, I'm a rebel, and I'm sitting there with my headphones in.
So when federal agents arrest you one day, we won't be surprised.
Oh, I know. I'm always like on the verge of being arrested for something traveling because of breaking all those rules. But you know what? My neighbor's a pilot, and he said, you can totally keep your phone and your iPad on the whole trip. It never affects the plane. So when he told me that, free rein. I now leave it on. I go, I've had expert advice now. But yeah. But if you don't want to be kicked off a plane, turn it off for that first 10 minutes and then turn it back on. But download all your stuff before you get on. Audible, which is a really interesting thing I haven't mentioned. Audible, I love. I think I just lost you.
I'm here. I'm here.
I love Audible, and we need them as a sponsor, Rick, on our show. Audible.com, I will download books before I head out on a trip, and I mean, they're like 5 to 8 hours of reading done in a couple flights, you know. So this book, End of Business as Usual, which, by the way, if any of you in business have not read that book yet, it is, I think, a must-read for leaders. It's called End of Business as Usual, and it's really talking about the new social consumer. And it's he's going into information on the millennials who are now, you know, in their early 20s, and how they're now, you know, they're just wired differently, and they share information with each other, and they make buying decisions based on their social connections. And so we really need to. So many people say, "Oh, social media is not for
yeah.
me. We're business to business."
And some of them even have jobs.
And some even have jobs. Hey, we have some in the audience. Yeah, I think it's a really important lesson for businesses is to really look at how are we reaching these new social consumers, because they are making decisions based on recommendations from their social circles, which really are they consider their friends and family. So when we say who are your friends, they're typically connected to those people in their social circles. So,
but actually, Gina, that's the way it's always been. The only difference is now it's enhanced. It's turbo speed to get recommendations, whereas before you had to wait to see people. Now you can see it online within seconds.
Yeah, you're right. And here I love you know me. Hyatt's one of our accounts, and I love all the Hyatts. But I checked in on Foursquare and I checked in on Facebook at the Hyatt here. Not one comment back. We don't manage their property yet. Hint, hint. But when a social consumer checks in, it's an opportunity for you to reach out to them and pull them further into relationship with you and do business with you. And I think, I know it's kind of off topic because I get on a tangent with this, but it kind of frustrates me that businesses put up these social sites and they go, oh, look, we do social media. And just because you do social media doesn't mean you're a social business. And they, they missed an opportunity to reach out and say, hey, thanks for posting that great comment about our property. As a business, when you say social media is business to business to consumer, incorrect. You are always reaching out to individuals when it's B2B. So I think social media is important. I don't know how I got on that soapbox, but it felt good. I'll take a step down. Okay, I'm going to open my iPad because I have a couple new apps. Rick, have you downloaded any new apps lately?
Yeah, tons.
You have? Okay.
I have.
I'm concerned.
Not memorable, but I have.
Which ones have you downloaded?
I don't even know. I've just downloaded so many of them. Let's see. They wind up, the problem with the iPad that I don't like is when you download apps, they go to the end of your pages. So now if you've got 10 pages of apps, you've got to figure out what did I just download and where is it?
There's a search feature.
That's true, and I use that all the time.
I know. I always forget too. I go, yeah, if you double click your home button, actually don't double click because that'll open up your apps at the bottom, but click one, click two.
Well, there is one new app that I downloaded recently. And if you're on the road and you're meeting with people, you want to find out a little bit more about the person, there is a new LinkedIn app.
Oh, I love it.
And it works really well. Let's see.
It's a beautiful app. As a matter of fact, it's very...
Yeah, it kind of shows you, I don't know if you can see that, but it shows you your main screen. It's a picture of you plus your, I guess, the people you know and just any kind of updates that are going on. But it's nice because if you are meeting with people, you want to know just a little bit more about them. You don't want to go to a website. You know they're on LinkedIn. It's a good place to get information.
Yeah, I actually downloaded that app the second day it came out and loved when I went to the news part of the LinkedIn app.
Yeah.
That you can scroll through the news of your LinkedIn groups and things. You can choose one group, but it flips through kind of like Zeit.
Right.
Really
It actually looks better than the web app that they have, though the website that they have.
I really like it. And you know what, Corden, I don't know who Corden is in the chat room, but thank you for the information. He said BlackBerry was actually allowed tethering. They had tethering 6 years ago.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, you can tether your BlackBerry to your iPad or other mobile devices on BlackBerry. So, and I would assume, like the others, there's a data plan, that you need to find out what does your data plan include. I know with Verizon, it's $25 extra a month to have the ability to tether, and then there's still a limit, which I hit every month. It'll say you're reaching your data limit on because of tethering, which has to do with videos. If you watch videos, if you're always on YouTube, you're going to reach that data limit real fast. So
Actually, that happened to me in Hawaii. We were in Hawaii last year for a vacation. That's where I got my MiFi card. We had really awful bandwidth at the Hilton over there, and I said we need some bandwidth. So we went over there, and it was great. We were getting almost 30 megabits down. That's really fast. That's almost FiOS speeds.
That's a way to fly through your data plan.
Yeah, and the problem is in 3 days we had a 6 gigabyte a month limit. I think we were at 10 by the time we were done in 3 days. So that was an extra $30 a month for that one. But and that was my fault. I was downloading about 20 Zinio magazines, and they were about 400 to 500 megabytes each.
So I would say the key is find a Wi-Fi spot.
Yep, that's true.
If you're traveling, find a free Wi-Fi spot. Download all your big things.
Yeah, I guess a Starbucks, go to one of those places, and everybody will hate you, but that's okay, I guess.
That's okay. Yeah, suck the bandwidth out of all the other Starbucks customers. But that's okay. I found a really great app that I use at home and while I'm traveling, an alarm clock for your bedside. And I don't know why alarm clocks always fascinate me, and I never really need them. I wake up before they go off, but I'm always looking for the cool looking alarm clock. And I found this one that looks, I'll see if the glare is not too bad. Those of you who are live here, there is a delay because we're streaming it here, but
yeah, it's pretty glary. That's better.
Yeah, it's too glary. But what I like about it, it has the weather. You can put the city in that you are that you're in. It looks like an old-fashioned little alarm clock. It has the volume knob on the side. But here's what's cool. Prepare yourself to take this one in. You're going to actually slide. There's a little, like a shade at night when you want to pull down the shade because the alarm clock is too bright.
Cute.
You pull down this little, I don't know what you call it, a pulley, and it pulls down the shade. And so in the daytime, it looks like it's black, but at night, you can still faintly see a digital alarm clock.
Clever.
And so you're able to still see your clock, but and then it has birds that chirp as your alarm, so you feel like Snow White in the morning.
That's really cute. Now here's another one. If you travel and you want to take pictures or videos of your travels, and we all do, and you've got an iPad, you can get, and I think this works on, I think it works on an iPhone too. Filmic Pro, Filmic Pro. Filmic turns, it has a lot of extra features, zooming and exposure control and all sorts of stuff for your iPad. It's a beautiful app. It does a great job. And another one is called Almost DSLR. And it has all the features that you would have in your DSLR camera right on your iPad. A lot of control, and it takes pretty darn good pictures. Those are great little apps if you're into photography or videotaping or whatever else. They're fun apps.
They're fun. Well, I know we only have 2 minutes before we're clearing the stage here. So let me ask the live audience, any questions on mobile? What's your greatest challenge working mobily? Yes, the iPhone can be used to tether. Check your plan. Verizon, iPhone, my husband has an iPhone, and we tether from his, and it's $25 a month to add that on, that feature. If you have T-Mobile, it's free. You wouldn't have an iPhone, but you'd have an Android. Free. I had T-Mobile for years, free tethering, and I still, every time I pass a T-Mobile store, I miss you. I love T-Mobile. We switched for the darn iPhone, and I have my Android. I'm a holdout. I'm holding out strong, Rick. One of these days, my phone will work as a phone. But right now, it's just a beautiful device. But yeah, so all the others charge you. T-Mobile has free data, at least for now.
And that's our music. We're time to wrapping it up.
Yeah, I do hear faintly the music. I don't hear it as loud.
It's faint.
Thank all of you in the chat room. I will save the chat and I'll put it on the SchreckTeck Facebook page. Facebook.com/SchreckTeck is where we keep all the archived shows every week, and so we'll post those with the chat. And thanks for letting me be high maintenance and come to you from the showroom here in San Diego.
Hey, thanks everyone. Glad to meet you guys live, and We will see you all, not next week, but the week after.
Ciao, Bellas.
Hey, have a good one, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Gina. Have fun at the show.
Thanks, we will.
Bye.
Hopefully this wasn't too much tech extra work for you.
Oh, no.
I know it was a lot of extra work for these guys.